What percent chance do you give the Pittsburgh Penguins of making the playoffs? It's the title of our show today, Frank, and it's also our leading topic. So let's get into it. Another win last night coming in overtime for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby was absolutely terrific with a 4-point performance. And listen, like Mechanicsville's in, Pens are 10th seed in the East. Buckaroo says the Pens are cooked. And I'm not sitting here trying to convince people that they're a Stanley Cup contender, but with the mush that is the Eastern Conference, a 7-2-1 run has them right back in the thick of the playoff conversation. So what do you make of the question, Frank? Are they playoff contenders? Are you buying a little bit on this run?
Are they a contender to make the playoffs? Yes. Are they a contender to do anything else? The answer is no. So I guess it depends on what you want to get excited about. A 4-point night from Sidney Crosby, big night. They've had a great run and certainly not taking anything away from their run. It's been fantastic. And it's made this season so much more interesting for the Penguins than they could have hoped. The door has been kicked wide open by the New York Rangers and their stumble down the standings. The Ottawa Senators have taken full advantage of that. They're the team, I think, in the driver's seat for that 8th and final spot in the East. But can the Rangers make it a race? Can they be that team that sneaks in and gets the 8th seed? Of course they can. They've got, just enough to be able to do that and present a plausible case. They're going to need more consistency. The problem is I don't really see any reinforcements on the way. Let's say if you're Kyle Dubas, you want to try and add to support this team. They're pot committed and they've been pot committed for years. What assets do you have to go spend to do it? You don't have prospects, and I think it'd be incredibly foolish to trade your first round pick yet again to try and prop up this team that has proven year in and year out that they don't have the makings to be something special. What do you do? I just don't know how you can beef up this team that's lacking in so many areas other than having a really good month of December.
Yeah, and you mentioned it with the picks. Like if Kyle Dubas goes and tries to trade a first-round pick to help this group, I think that would be absolutely bananas.
It's a fireable offense.
Absolutely. They do have multiple third-round picks in each of the next 3 drafts, multiple second-round picks in each of in 2026 and 2027. They don't have one in 25. So unless they're going to nibble around the edges, I think it's more a conversation of, do they get convinced to not sell versus getting convinced to buy at any point here? But
even that, I think, if we're thinking truly long-term view of the Penguins, if you could retain half and get a good return on Marcus Pettersson, you probably should be doing it regardless of whether you're in the race or not. Also, the qualification there is it a good return? That's subjective. But other than that, there's not a whole ton on their roster that they could even sell to get good value.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well. I mentioned the Eastern Conference just being absolute mush. The gap between wildcard 2, which this morning is Ottawa, and dead last Buffalo is 10 points. That's crazy to see that little of a gap between a playoff spot and dead last in the conference, Frank. It feels like forever since we've been able to say this. There's going to be a playoff race in the Eastern Conference.
I'm not convinced that's the case. I'm really not.
You think Ottawa pulls away?
Yeah, I think there's a really good chance that 7 of the 8 spots are already spoken for. And if the Sens continue to get this level of goaltending, they have the ability to pull away. I'm not giving up on the Rangers. I know Johnny's not in here yet. He can't hear me say it, but that's one team I think has the ability to get in and make noise, and they're going to be adding and beefing up that team. I think the Sens are in a good spot right now.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Seravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.